Hi, Joe Bonnier for Fastpitchpower.com and Empower Athletic Development. In this video, I'm going to talk about Olympic lifting for softball athletes and really athletes in general. So if you're a multi-sport coach, a multi-sport athlete, fitness professional who works with a variety of athletes, all you need to do is replace every time I say softball or softball athlete with another sport or an athlete in another sport, and the rules still apply. First goal of this video is to clarify what's exactly happening during the Olympic lifts for parents and athletes and coaches who may not be familiar with these exercises. Second goal is to expose the benefits in softball-specific terms for parents and athletes. The next goal is for college strength and conditioning coaches, private strength and conditioning coaches, high school strength and conditioning coaches, who are in defense of these lifts, who are in support of these lifts, to give you an operable, communicable, that's even a word, language to use with your current athletes and interested athletes and parents. So when a new athlete walks into your weight room or your facility, they look at the line of platforms with the softball team doing similar exercises to the basketball and the track team, you can gently diffuse that mom's opposition to why their daughter is lifting like a track athlete or a football player, and you can explain the benefits of these exercises in softball terms and not have to rely on textbook terms that we learn like triple extension and rate of force development, things like that. Things that parents and athletes who have no lifting experience whatsoever can digest. Okay? They want to see the softball-specific benefits, those softball-specific angles, softball-specific muscle groups. Okay? So we have to get them to agree on what's required for softball performance and show them how these lifts benefit their athlete. Okay, so for parents, athletes, again, with not much experience with these lifts, let's talk about what's going on. First, why I'm even talking about these exercises? Well, one, on a day-to-day basis, regardless of the exercises I choose, I'm preparing athletes ultimately to endure a collegiate athletic experience. That doesn't mean just preparing them to perform on the field. It means preparing them to endure or, at best, extract benefit from a collegiate-style weightlifting program or a collegiate strength and conditioning program in which, in many collegiate weight rooms, Olympic lifts are very, very popular. Okay? Even if their coach doesn't have experience with softball players, your future strength coach doesn't have experience training softball athletes, doesn't really do a good job of explaining these lifts in the softball-specific terms. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll be able to see exactly why they can help you. Okay. I'm going to give you the crash course in Olympic lifting right now. There are two main lifts. Okay? The clean and jerk and the snatch. Clean and jerk is one exercise, snatch is another exercise. Clean and jerk is the exercise in which I take the barbell from the ground up to my shoulders, then ultimately over my head. Right? Two separate motions. The snatch is when I take the barbell from the ground, up over my head, all in one motion. Okay? Two separate lifts. Context is super important. I am only using in my gym and only really supporting the clean and its progressions or variations. I do no explosive exercises overhead with softball players. I'm neither accelerating a weight overhead explosively or trying to decelerate a weight from the sky, okay, explosively, because that's essentially what's happening in those other exercises or the jerk portion of the clean. So for fitness professionals, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. For parents, athletes, okay, you should understand now that I'm only talking about taking a barbell from the ground, okay, to my shoulders and down. Again, accelerating the bar away from the ground and then decelerating it upon the catch. Okay, not putting it down, but as the barbell travels down, I meet the barbell and have to stop or decelerate the system, which includes the bar and my body. So how in the world does that help softball players? How in the world is that softball specific? Okay, for parents and athletes. Because I want to expose the benefits of these exercises except on your terms. So the first thing we need to do is agree upon essential, critical, physical foundational capacities. Long story short, what are we looking to build in your athlete? What are we looking to improve in your athlete? What do both you and I agree is essential to install in your athlete? What does your athlete need? Okay? Fitness professionals, I hope you're listening now, because this is probably more important for you, or at least as important for you to understand how to come to an agreeable language or middle ground with interested parents and athletes, or even current athletes who don't understand what we're doing here or why we're doing it on their terms. All right, let's take one physical capacity that I think we can all agree upon, especially if you follow these videos, and that's we need our athletes to get stronger. I've said a million times before that in order to get faster, the fastest way to get fast is to be strong first. We need to build strength. But that doesn't resonate with parents or athletes who have no lifting experience. Just getting strong they don't see the results on the field in their head when you say, we need to get stronger. Okay? We need to get softball-specific muscles stronger. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, we need to get the muscles that your softball athlete is going to use stronger. They'll agree on that, I hope. Even better, we need to get strong into and out of softball-specific positions. So positions that your athlete's going to be in on the field, I need to build that strength. Okay? They have to agree. They have to trust you a little bit. They have to trust that we need to get stronger to become more explosive, to become faster. Once that's agreed upon, we need to get strong in softball-specific positions. We need to be explosive in softball-specific positions. Okay. This is where you show them, or they'll be able to see now, regardless of what position that athlete is, the benefits hopefully on their terms. How so? Okay. First thing, would you agree, parents, athletes, coaches, that you want your athletes explosive? We'll use the word explosive because that's what these exercises train. Right? Into and out of this position. Just that base athletic position. Not yet? Okay. Well, if I'm a fielder, okay, do I need to be explosive out of this position? Okay. All I need to do is widen my stance here, and you see that I'm in a pretty good fielding position, regardless if I'm an infielder or an outfielder. I'm in a very good ready position. I need to be explosive first, have good first step speed out of that position. Yes? Yes. Good. We're on the same page. Next, if I'm a hitter, all I'm going to do is make my stance a little bit wider, joint angles stay the same, and I turn my head. Okay. Now I'm in a hitting stance. Hips are still loaded, and I need to be explosive out of this position. Yes? Hips, knees, ankles, explosive out of that position. Yes, we're on the same page. Pitcher. Okay? I get back in my universal athletic position. All I'm going to do is bring my feet closer together, drop one leg behind. You see the same angles here. Hips are still loaded. I need to be explosive out of that position. Do we agree? Yes, we agree. I need to be explosive, all right, in a few slightly different ways, utilizing similar joint angles, similar body position in this universal athletic position. Okay, enter the hang clean. Hang, H-A-N-G, hang clean. You'll see this in collegiate weight rooms. You'll see this in your strength and conditioning programs. All this means is I'm going to build explosive or power out of this athletic position, okay, which looks like this. Again, we all agreed that I need to be real strong, real explosive out of this position. What's the hang clean train? I load into that athletic position. All right, I explode out of that athletic position. Load and explode. Obviously, there's an additional component to this exercise because I'm decelerating the weight. Okay, load and explode. Got me? If you followed my videos on pitching, okay, you know that it's not just important to be able to accelerate away from the pitching rubber, but velocity contributes as much to how well I stop my body. Okay? That's what converts all that initial velocity into the upper body and out into the arm and into the ball. So the deceleration component, and obviously for fielders and even hitters, right, the general capacity to decelerate or stop the system is important for performance and injury prevention. Control is super, super important. Okay, so now we see that the hang position, right, is very, 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 very important, very, very similar to that universal athletic position that we just talked about, which is really the foundational position to either fielding, pitching, or hitting. Same joint angles. Building power, building explosiveness out of that position. So, is that all we need? Do we need to even take the bar from the floor or back down to the floor? Well, we've left out one position and one critical element in softball, one being the catcher and two being fielding a ground ball. All right? I need to be explosive out of a crouch. Do you agree? Yes, we agree. We need to field the ball. We need to get low. We need to be explosive. We need to quickly decelerate. We need to quickly accelerate out of that position. As a catcher, there's no argument needed. You need to be explosive, quick, out of the crouch. Right? Would you also agree that it's more ideal to use our hips, our knees, and our ankles, and not our lower back when we're entering the crouch position? All right. Whether I'm a fielder, okay, whether I have to get low here, okay, whether I'm a catcher, and I have to get low here. Do you want me using my hips, my knees, my ankles, and not my lower back? Yes, of course we do. We want to spare our lower back. We don't want lower back pain. Good. So what do coaches need to install? All right. A good position from the ground, which requires good mobility of the hips, knees, and ankles, which is going to spare the lower back. Hopefully my back is not rounded and I'm not in a bad position to pick up the weight. Okay? So I'm going to build flexibility in my hips and my ankles to get low and subsequently explode out of the crouch up to my shoulders. That would be the next most advanced, that would be the next progression of Olympic lifts. Starting with the hang, which is building explosiveness out of the athletic position, then we move to the floor, building explosiveness out of a crouch position. The final progression would be accelerating the bar from the floor and then catching into a crouch. Okay, all right, in which is, again, it's just owning and exposing control, flat mobility at the hips and ankles with good control and core stability. Because if my back rounds, lose stability in my core. If I can maintain a good upright torso, it's pretty good evidence of good core stability along with good hip mobility, which we've already agreed we need in softball-specific positions. We've already agreed on this. We can't debate it anymore. All right, so from the ground into a squat. Accelerate it. And back up. And back up. All right, so what's important for parents, fitness professionals, athletes, obviously, to understand first is what these, superficially, what are we looking to build with these exercises? Strength and explosiveness. Okay? Hopefully you see the softball-specific benefits of these exercises based on our contract, based on what we agreed upon, what we need. Fitness professionals and strength coaches, hopefully you see how to communicate to your athletes exactly what they need on their terms, and not even talk about power, explosiveness, rate of force development, triple extension. Okay, put them on the field. Put them into their position. Show them how ideal joint angles and joint mechanics on the field are reinforced using these exercises when coached correctly. That is the most important context of all. When supervised and coached correctly, these exercises are very, very sport-specific. Right? Now, what's sport-specific about the catch? About taking the barbell, all right, from the ground to our shoulders? Because this seems to be the crux of the argument for the coaches who don't want to install the lifts, or people who don't want to install the lifts. All right, first of all, when coached correctly, these exercises place no strain on the wrists or shoulders. Right? To clarify, when I catch the bar, it's in my fingertips. That doesn't take very much flexibility. I'm sorry, I have probably the tightest forearms, all right, and upper body muscles of any softball player I work with. That doesn't take much flexibility, okay, to get my elbow in a good front rack position. Secondly, there should be very, very, very little impact on the shoulders on the way down, okay, during the catch position. So as I accelerate up here. Why? Because we should be meeting the bar at zero velocity. Okay, so the bar's path comes up from the ground. It stops for a split second. At that point, it is the goal of the coach and the athlete to get that athlete to meet the bar in the catch position at which the bar is relatively weightless, and then we either ride down or we really put on the brakes with our core and our legs, and we stop the weight. All right? So, the overall context here is when coached correctly. Most important context here. Zero stress on the shoulders, zero stress on the wrist, because we're going to catch the bar in the correct position. We're going to make sure the athlete's doing the exercise correctly and meeting the bar as close to zero as possible, so there's very little impact on the shoulders when coached correctly. Also, I don't mean to attack at all the coaches who don't use that lift or those variations. I really don't care that much, because you can get results, all right, a variety of different ways. I just think this gives you the best opportunity to get the best results ultimately, especially if you're preparing athletes to enter a weight room of 25 to 30 girls with only one strength and conditioning coach that has no softball experience. All I want to do is bark like a football coach. Okay? Prepare your incoming freshman girls to be the best lifter, as good as any returning junior or senior, day one. For those coaches who don't use these lifts, I question this. Are you teaching athletes to deadlift? Probably. Are you teaching athletes RDLs or any kind of a hinging pattern, the ability to move through the hips? Do you value mobility through the hips and control through the core? So do you do RDLs or any variations of RDLs? Yeah, you probably do. Are you teaching them to squat? Okay. Yeah, you probably do. So all you're telling me now is that my athletes can RDL, they can hinge, they can deadlift, they can squat. What you're saying really is that you can't teach them one athletic movement. And that means to come up out of that extension, okay, and react into a catch position. Well, I'm confident that the coaches who say they can't coach the lift probably can coach the lift. They just can't communicate as to exactly what's going on during the catch. So the easiest analogy, or the best analogy I can use for a softball athlete is this. Softball athletes do know how to do one thing. They know how to react, because the game is very, very fast. You got to hit. If you're a hitter, you have to react. More relevantly for these exercises, if I'm a fielder, okay, I have to react. Okay, I have to be in a ready position real fast. So, when I'm accelerating the barbell away from the ground, and I get to here, okay, I accelerate, extend hips, knees, ankles. All I need to do, teach your athletes, is to just react. Okay, don't pull the bar to your shoulders. Okay, it's not a curl. All you need to do is be able to find this position. The ball's hit. Get there, okay? React like you're fielding a ground ball. Field the bar, okay? You don't pull the bar to your body, right? You can, but you play the bar. You field the bar, just like you play the ball. You don't let the ball play you, is what fielders will learn. Okay, you put your body in the best position. You react. Bar's hit, okay? Get ready to field the bar. Right? It's very easy. All you need to do is put it in softball terms. So for coaches that have problems teaching the catch, all right, if you agree that the catch is not dangerous, all right, when coached correctly, and that's really the only thing that you haven't taught, okay, because you've taught deadlift, you've taught a hinge, you've taught a front squat, okay, try it out. Try it on yourself, try it on your staff, okay, and watch your athletes, okay, be more athletic. If we can't teach athletes to do one thing, one athletic movement, then what are we really doing? Relying on slow strength to convert to the field? I hope not. All right. Parents, athletes, I hope this clarified the softball-specific benefits of these exercises. Fitness professionals, whether you're in defense of these exercises, whether you're in opposition of these exercises, at least you can agree that when a girl asks you, am I going to do Olympic lifting? We're supposed to do it in college. You can say, you know what, we do the big rocks. We do everything you're pretty much going to need. We do all the foundational movements. We deadlift, we hinge, we front squat. Maybe the last 2 weeks we'll work on the catch, and you'll nail it. You'll have it down. You'll know exactly what to do once you get to the field. Once you get to college. Even if you don't want to use them in your program, you'll be a better coach for being able to teach them and prepare them for the collegiate weight room.